Hi, Enzo. You're talking about the club and taking over and you need to start winning straight away and things like that. When you've spoken to the club about targets for this season and what would be a good season, have you had those conversations, and would it be like trophies or league position or performances? Like how are they seeing it, and what's the demand for you?
At the beginning of the season, you don't set a target in terms of trophy. The target since day one has been quite clear with the club, with the players, is to compete, to arrive March, April, to be there, and then we see what's happened.
Obviously, you've talked a lot about transfers earlier on. I've been asked a lot about transfers and how many players need to still come into the squad. But does it feel like something's a little bit missing at the moment? Obviously, with the World Cup, it's not been easy to do transfers early, but going into the season on Sunday, there are obviously gaps in the squad, and it looks like there's more players leaving than coming in. How does that feel heading into the season?
I think it's a feeling for most of the club, not all the club, because some club probably they prefer to do the business at the beginning or at the end of the previous season. I think we are almost in the same situation, all the club. It's 10 days to go. Hopefully we can do the things that we need to do. Does help that there are players that for different reasons they want to leave. This is for sure. But we need to adapt, and also we don't want to keep here players that they don't want to stay, for sure.
Just publicly over the last week, with a lot of players going out and not so much coming in, I think supporters are a bit concerned that, I don't know, maybe you're running out of time, but how comfortable do you feel? Because you will know more than us. How comfortable do you feel that things are actually on track, and in 10 days' time, it's not going to look as alarming as it does now?
Yeah, I think, it's a similar situation for all the club, all the fans, because you are waiting to do things. And probably the normal thing in window transfer is that you have to wait the last week, because all the club, they try to keep players until the last week and then sell with the more money. It's normal. So I'm not worried about that. And when the window transfer close and we have all the squad here, for sure it will be different.
Hi Enzo. Obviously as a manager, your job is a lot about solving problems. But when you lose a player like Rodri, who's arguably the best in the world in his position,
how we solve the problem?
How do you solve that problem? I mean, is it one player? Is it two players? Or does it give you an extra kind of challenge?
I'll try to find a new Rodri. It's where it is. Rodri, when arrived here, he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. He didn't win the Champions League. He didn't win the Club World Cup. Then joined the club, and then after, he achieved many important things. So now the target for us is try to find the new Rodri. I think when I was thinking last night when David Silva was here, everyone was worried. Kevin arrived. When Aguero was here, everyone was worried. Erling arrived. Fernandinho, Rodri arrived. It's just about this. When they leave, you need to be good in recruit the next one. But they are all similar. David, Kevin, Fernandinho, Rodri, Aguero, Erling. There is one more that now I forgot, but last night I was thinking about that. It's normal. It's a change. It's not a problem. Just go again and try to do the right things.
As a manager, is it your policy that if a player, no matter how good, decides that he wants to leave, you can't stand in his way?
He can go. Absolutely. Because if he is not happy, he's not going to perform in the right way.
That's on Simon.
Hi Enzo. How have the players reacted to losing to Arsenal?
The reaction was good in terms of was good and normal, because it's normal that you are upset. Straight after the game, we were all upset. Again, we wanted to win, we didn't win, so it's normal reaction. But since I think Tuesday that we start to week and we start to prepare Bournemouth game, you have to, you have to switch off one thing and try to be focused just in the next one. So it was 2 days where we were not happy, and now the focus has to be Bournemouth.
And how have you found working with the players? Because obviously they're so used to Pep Guardiola, but they must be quite motivated, I guess, to try and impress you and your staff as the the new people in charge?
Yeah, they are working very good. They are working very good. I told you already many times in the press conference that since day one, the attitude the behavior has been very good. For them also, it's not easy. You have to think that, as you said, when you work with the same person every day, it's and then change everything. I'm an actor, and I work with the same director, and I make movie for 10 years. Suddenly, the director changed. Me as an actor, I'm still thinking in the same way I was with the previous director, but now the director is new, so I need to adapt. It's complex, it's not easy. That's why I'm saying that it's a contest. It's not excuse, but require a little bit time, but we need to compete as soon as possible.
And you mentioned sort of competing in 4 competitions. How many players do you like to work with in your squad?
I think we have 3-4 academy players that they're going to stay with us because they impressed me in pre-season. That is Caden, Samba, and Ryan Macedo. They're going to be with us. And then we need, for me personally, we need 21, 22 players, around 20 players, plus these 3 young, full of energy. We are happy.